Same thing with Olimata. He can't skate great, but he tries. Bless his soul. I love him. I want him to do better.
He's not doing so great. Jack Johnson had a bad game. Oof.
Well, Jack Johnson is bad. Like Jack Johnson is bad.
Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Donut Bag, now part of the Pulse Podcast Network. In this episode, I talk Penguins with Leah Blasko from the Pensblog. I talk about the World Series with Johnnie Black and Bruce Cagle Jr. of the Scorecrow. I preview the Steelers-Browns game with Rod Bluhm and Chad Painter from the Brownie Sunday Podcast. And I talk Steelers and preview Week 8 in the NFL with Coach Warzu and Mark Hagelauer. As always, if you're listening to this, please subscribe either on Podbeam or Apple or Google Play or wherever you get the podcast. It does help a lot. The Donut Bag starts right now. Okay, now to talk about the Penguins is Leah Blasko. She is at Leah on Twitter and is a writer for the Pensblog. Leah, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
I am great. Especially after last night. Man, what a game. Penguins and Oilers.
Well, it lived up to the hype. It was like the anti-Toronto game in every way.
You know, they expected the Toronto game to be like 6-5, and it was 1-0. So, but of course, and then that Edmonton game was crazy. And of course, Sid, one of the best goals of his career.
Oh my God, it might be. I mean, like, so how ridiculous is this that we're like, well, maybe this one's the best one. And then, in like 2 weeks, he's going to do something and we're like, oh, maybe it's that one. Like, there's still that goal that he went through the entire Buffalo Sabres team, all 5 of them.
Right.
And used one hand to score a goal. Like,
right.
What?
Right. Yeah. Or that one little stretch, I think it was earlier this year, where he was just batting everything out of thin air like it was the Matrix or something.
It was the beginning of the 15-16 season.
Oh, man.
Because the team was not like... Or maybe it was the beginning of 16-17. It was like the first month of one of the cup winning seasons.
Yeah.
It was just insane. And then last year he had that goal against Montreal where we were just like, did you do that on purpose? And it's like, it said, of course he did.
Right. We were at one point chatting last night and you said, what do you want to talk about? And I was typing Sid's goal droughts and I didn't even finish that and he just scored. Like, oh, well, never mind. That's not a topic anymore.
And the thing is, it's not a topic. It should never be a topic. It's also, I just think it's really dumb. It's like, we know he's going to score a goal.
Right.
Yeah. He didn't score until the 7th game this year. That's the latest it's ever been that he started his scoring in a year, but it's not like he wasn't doing anything. He was crushing Austin Matthews in the Corsi department in their game against Toronto. He has been a possession monster in a lot of ways. And I'm like, it's whatever. They'll go in. He's had chances, It's Sid. He'll get there. Like, exactly. I'm not worried about.
And even if he doesn't score, you're right. He contributes in so many other ways. But I think it's so funny that he goes to Edmonton, and what is all the talk? Has Connor McDavid passed Sid? Is Connor McDavid number 1, the best player in the league right now?
And then Crosby says he is. Like Crosby said last week that he was.
Crosby says he is. All the media says that McDavid's better, and Crosby says that doesn't bother him, but it was killing him, and he does things like last night to say, "Oh yeah, so about that number one in the world, still think it's McDavid, huh? I'll show you."
No, like it's ridiculous. He can do things by sheer force of will that other players can't do in their dizziest daydreams. And that is the difference between a player like Sidney Crosby and everybody else. And in our game recap from today on the Pensblog, our fearless leader, G, said it really well. He was like, McDavid has the raw power, and that was on display last night. He's got this burst. He's fast. He's fierce. But Crosby is just clinical. Crosby sees the game in a way that nobody else does. And the longer they're playing in the league together, the more that I think it's unfair to compare them to each other, because they're actually very different.
Yeah.
Crosby never had that pure burst of speed that McDavid has. He never did. Crosby's always been an undersized player. He's always been the best third liner in the world with a hockey IQ higher than probably anybody who's ever played the game. And I'm not mincing words. He understands the game of hockey, I think, better than anybody who has ever played this game. And that includes Wayne Gretzky. Sorry, guys.
That's it. I mean, it's I grew up watching Mario Lemieux, and Mario did it on just because he was, he had insane physical talent and, gifts, and he was so gifted. But Sid just does it because he just on work, just hard work.
It's concentrated effort of will, and it's the idea that he identifies what needs worked on, and he relentlessly works on it until it gets better. And that's one thing that I've been like, well, no wonder his defense has been a little, like, I have only noticed it the last 2 games, so I can't really speak for the other 4. And of course, either way, it's still a small sample size. His Corsi for his possession metrics, like his in-zone starts, he didn't start a single shift last night in the offensive zone, and he still ate the Oilers alive. Babcock stopped matching him against Matthews because Matthews couldn't handle it. And it's not about physical gifts. It's not about speed. It's about so much that he just understands that a lot of players couldn't even begin to fathom. And that's what makes him so difficult to play with too. Like, Connor McDavid, they could probably put anybody on his line and they would score a boatload of goals. And the same thing happens with Crosby. But we have heard time and time again, Crosby is difficult to play with. And it's not because he's like a bad guy. He's the greatest player out there, and he just wants to be one of the guys. But unfortunately, that's not how his life will ever be, because he's too good for that. But on the same hand, he makes passes, and other people just can't receive them, can't think the game that way. That's why him and Jake work so well together.
Right. And that's always a thing, is who's going to be on that top line with Sid and Jake. Apparently it should be Hornquist, but Sid doesn't want that apparently. So they put up Simone or Rust or someone else. But
see, I don't think that's true though. I honestly don't. I mean, Sid likes to play with Patrick Hornquist. He does, because Patrick Hornquist plays defense, and Sid likes having a player. That's why he liked playing with Pascal, because Pascal loves to back check. And so I don't think that Sid is saying he wants to play with this guy or that guy. That's not in Sidney Crosby's nature. Sidney Crosby, for all that he is not a demanding kind of guy. Like, I am pretty sure he did not say to them, well, you have to sign Jack Johnson, no matter what anybody tries to make us believe. If you're going to tell me that I got a bridge, I'm going to sell you.
Right.
But
right.
No. I think that Mike Sullivan puts players with Crosby that he thinks will play well with Crosby. And the thing is, Patrick Hornquist is actually stealthily very good. Like, he has great possession metrics. He's like one of those low-key really good players that a lot of people kind of get lost on because of the way he plays. So it's actually more beneficial for the team for him to be on a different line. That's why I think they've moved him, because him and Sid and Jake mind meld, and Phil and Gino mind meld, and you can tell he told Phil and Gino, he's like, look, if you guys want to play together, you have to score or you're not gonna.
Yeah.
And they've pretty much stood up to those orders, and Carl plays defense for them sometimes, which is good, but he could put anybody on that third spot. As long as they're capable of skating with Crosby, they'll be fine. And that's why I'm like not even upset about Daniel Sprong not being there, because the kid doesn't belong there.
It's what a mess Sprong is. He hardly plays, and even when he does play, it's not good. I don't know. Do you think he even has a future on this team? Do you think he's going to get traded?
So the best thing for him right now is to stop playing and start watching, because he clearly does not understand what he is supposed to be doing. It's not that he doesn't have the talent. It's not that he can't do it. It's not that he's not skilled. There are just times where it's just like he I don't know if the game is too fast. I don't know if he's just not used to the role. I don't know what it is, because here's the thing. Good players can play on the fourth line and still be good. Brian Rust plays on all four lines on this team and always contributes in some tangible way, whether it's on the score sheet or whether it's like just being an effective energy player. Mitch Marner played a few games last year on the fourth line for the Maple Leafs, and he got moved up because he started playing well. Matt Cullen is not hard to play hockey with. Tom Kunako could play hockey with Matt Cullen. Anybody can play hockey with Matt Cullen.
That's the thing. It's not a lousy fourth line. Cullen, Shahan, whoever's on that fourth line, yeah, they're good. It's not like Carter Rowney or Craig McCaig or whatever. I mean, he should be able to do something.
Well, the other thing too is that there is no better person, in my opinion, right now to put a young player in the presence of than a guy like a Matt Cullen or a guy like Tom Kostopoulos. Both of those guys are just really good pros. I mean, I guess maybe Pascal Dupuis I would put in that same category, but he has decided he didn't want to do coaching. He's decided he wants to go into TV, which he has the personality for, so all the power to him. But those guys, like, those are Matt Cullen made Tom Kuhnhackl passable enough that he won not one, but 2 Stanley Cups. You're going to tell me that the problem is how they're using Sprong? Maybe they could be using him in a better way, but he actually has to do something when he's on. He doesn't, like, literally, it's not like he's 8 shifts out of 10. It's not like he's good or it's not like he's bad. He's literally just existing. I forget he's on the ice. Like, I forget he's a human. And then when you do see him, he does really, really asinine stuff like what he did last night. And you're just like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost best to just have him sit in the press box, watch things, and think about it. And I don't know.
There are a whole myriad of quote unquote issues with this team. I think issues is a little bit intense because it's literally like not even a whole month into the season. But there are plenty of things this team needs to clean up. There are plenty of things this team needs to work on. Daniel Sprong is replaceable. Like, easily. And I mean, like, I get that Daniel